Hi, everybody. Welcome to Meet the Mailers. I'm Paul Bobnak for Who's Mailing What, and today I'm talking with two leaders from Kansas City, Missouri-based NextPage. My guests are Gina Danner, CEO of NextPage, and Sam Sewell, Senior Account Executive at NextPage. Now, before we get started, if you have any questions or comments, please comment below. Show your support for our channel by tapping the like button. And to get notified of when we add new videos, click on subscribe. Now let's meet today's mailers. Hi, Gina and Sam, welcome.
Hi, Paul.
Hi, Paul.
Thanks for including us.
Oh, you're welcome. Great to have you here today. So let's get started by talking about your individual backgrounds, how you got involved with direct mail, and what your present roles involve at NextPage.
Sam, you want to start?
Sure. Yeah, I started in the industry when I was 15 years old, working for a small family-run printing company. And it was great, but I wanted to see something a little bigger. So I looked around the local area here in Kansas City and found a specialty print finishing company. I got a job there working in production while I was going through college. And I ended up migrating off the production floor into a project management role, and then eventually into a sales role. And sales was, after getting an opportunity, kind of a taste of sales, I found that was my passion. And I left that company and took another opportunity at an envelope manufacturing company. And I spent a couple of years there. And then Gina was gracious enough to let me have an opportunity to come to work at NextPage and kind of move from the industry support role, where I was supporting companies like NextPage, to the front end, to where I get to speak directly to a decision maker, to the customer, about the unique solutions. And using that experience, it's been really beneficial. And I've been here for 5 years now. My role here is that I'm a senior account executive, managing relationships from direct mail customers, packaging, kind of across the full gamut of graphic arts and the things that we take to market. So it's been a blessing to come on board here.
Awesome.
And then I've been in printing and direct mail for 33 years. My family actually started a little business that we did lick and stick and sort mail, and back 30 some years ago, and eventually added the printing services and added digital printing and got all the way into a variety of other areas. And our goal is always to go from start to finish and keep as much control under our umbrella as we can. At some point in time, we kind of came to the realization that if we do our jobs right, we help our clients make money. And that's always a critical thing. The value of mail is pretty significant if it's done right.
Right, absolutely. So talking about that in further detail, what kind of services does the company offer to marketers? What are the core services all about?
So we start with kind of the end in mind. What's the ultimate goal? And start with data and what sort of data structure our clients have. Work with their data teams and their brand teams to create direct mail, and the visual aspects of it, the creative design, and go all the way through the printing and production process, whether it's digital printing or offset printing. We convert our own envelopes in-house, which is a real benefit, as well as do all of our own finishing and inserting and mailing. So we'll go from the idea to the mailbox and everything under one roof, or in one cave, so to speak.
So to speak, right.
Yeah, Paul, from a sales perspective, one of the benefits of being with an organization like NextPage is fantastic equipment, everything we have, also the incredible staff. So, it's our job to maximize opportunities with our clients, to maximize the results of the campaigns. Sometimes that's diving into the data to mine correctly, make sure they're targeting the right audience. If we can lend some guidance on the creative aspect, discuss the offer, just bring as much value as we can from all of our experience to that one client, but on a daily basis.
Mm-hmm. So let's get a little bit into some more detail talking about direct mail. For the best chance of successfully reaching customers, Campaigns should be a combination of channels, including mail, of course. What kind of foundation is needed before getting started?
So the one of the big challenges we see in the marketplace is this concept of big data. And that just means there's a whole lot of it. And so many clients don't understand what data they have, how they can use the data, and how they can dig into their customer or prospect base to really target the right people with the right message on what we like to say on the right page. So that's one of the things we really try to focus on is starting with the data and then going all the way through the process. For years and years and years, I've said NextPage is the only printer that will tell you to mail less. And so as budgets get strapped, as people see value in other channels, we have to make sure that the mail is very valuable and generates the results that are necessary. So whether that is data modeling to find consumers that have a high propensity to convert with direct mail, whether that's taking out a sector of the database and focusing on digital marketing, it's really about digging deeper into the data, and then everything else becomes gravy on top of that. If the data gets messed up at some point in time, whether they're on the client side, on the vendor side, or is targeting the wrong people, it's just ripe for waste. And so we try to really make sure that we put the odds in our favor of being successful by making sure our clients understand the value and the depth and the focus of their data.
And we always start with data, to Gina's point, and to her credit, she did tell the first prospect that I brought to NextPage in the first meeting was, maybe you do need to mail less. And I thought that's what we did. Well, the reality is we want it to be successful for our clients. We want a long-term relationship. So sometimes not everyone has propensity to respond to direct mail, so therefore you look at it a different way. But I've had someone give me 11 postcards from one of the largest direct consumer brands in the country, and it was because they joined a loyalty membership. They got 11 postcards. So it's not just the data. Yeah, it's about making sure we're targeting the right people, but also cleaning the data. And we will continually talk about that because it is the most important aspect of any successful campaign.
And seeing, I think, also the possibilities in data by really doing like a deeper dive into it too.
Sometimes it's about saving money, maximizing the budget. It's always about actually maximizing the budget, making sure we're targeting the right audience.
Sure.
Like nonprofits is an example. A lot of them have legacy, systems, and they continue to retarget the same people over time. Sometimes never revisiting whether or not they're actually successful campaigns or who's responding. So it's just slow down sometimes, and we have some really smart people that can take deep dives. But sometimes it's step back and ask a couple of questions. So the more we understand someone's world, and the more they'll let us open the door and start to unpack things, because we do need to understand it if we're really going to bring real value to them long term, to keep a valuable relationship and for success for both, for them to improve whether it's response rates or increased donations or better conversions, and on our end, we want to be successful and help both of us make money.
Of course. So talking about challenges, you've already mentioned about data being one. How have postage and paper increases affected design and mail pieces and even strategy overall?
So what we try to focus on is the postage is typically the biggest cost, where clients will go back and forth about, do I want a 6x9 postcard or a 9x12, or a 6x11 postcard or a 9x6, whatever they want, all with the thought of saving a little bit of money on the cost of the paper. Well, the postage is the most expensive component of a direct mail piece, So the key is we have to maximize the message when we actually get the opportunity to. So we look at higher value mail pieces, whether it's with messaging because we have good data from a client, so we can create a more relevant message and more relevant graphics to the actual person receiving them. We may use a shape cut envelope or a shape cut postcard. We may add some foil or embellishments to maximize the image of the piece. There's just a variety of ways we can go in once we understand what the end goals are and how we want to attack it. Of course, paper's been a big hot topic for the last 18 months or so, but it's just one of many topics that have to be addressed. But no matter what happens with paper cost, postage is going to be the biggest item. So making sure that we're targeting the right individuals with the right message, and then maximizing the pennies that we're spending on the print so that we're getting the best bang for the buck. You know, at NextPage, a shape cut envelope really doesn't cost any more than a regular envelope. You know, if somebody's doing 50,000 of them and we're doing a high designed envelope, let's go ahead and make it a shape cut envelope.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's been interesting too. Paper's an issue. It's going to continue to be, we don't know how far out before the supply chain calms down. And I don't know if we'll ever get back to what we all remember as normal. So out of that has come some additional opportunities with our clients for planning. Whereas before, you know, the third and fourth quarter, everyone's hair is usually on fire because they have forgot something. Traditionally, they've been able to get a direct mail campaign with creative and everything to a vendor and processed in a certain period of time. Well, the traditional schedules have changed. But the benefit is we've been able to, I mean, a lot of our clients really do plan ahead, obviously. But there's still some that traditionally hadn't made it that necessarily a priority. And it's allowed us to have some deeper conversations with them. And personally, in my book of business, it's strange, but in a weird way, I'm not gonna say it's beneficial, but it hasn't been as crazy this fourth, simply because we're so far ahead of it in planning, and it's almost changed their mindset. Now we're looking ahead for, you know, we're actually all the way out into third and fourth quarter of 2023 already. Right. But we've also been able to consider some other opportunities. Going back to the postage increases, we had one client that schedules were always an issue. They would never be able to consider or take advantage of commingle if it made sense. And in their case, it does. And we were able to hold postage costs utilizing commingle. Mm-hmm. In their world, it's $5 to $6 grand per mailing that we were able to put back into their pocket with the additional planning and those additional conversations. So it's there, and we're all going to be dealing with it continually. Postage are going to keep going up, but NextPage is a company that truly does try to think outside the box on an ongoing basis. An example of that is we have a postcard that we do for clients, laminated postcard, and we, without changing any production costs, added a die cut shape on the trail edge. And it's the same, we have to die cut the cards anyway, laminate, die cut them, inkjet them, in this case, same production process, but just looking for some alternative ways to add value to the piece. Mm-hmm. That's, the team here is always looking for something like that. So it's not just maximizing postage, it's getting in, somebody noticed something, bring it up on an offer or whatever. It's just, it's nice to be able to take that much value in the market on a continuing basis.
Yep, absolutely. Well, along the same lines, more generally speaking, how can marketers improve their direct mail ROI?
You're going to say mail
that. Of course.
No, not always, right?
Well, I don't want to beat a dead horse. It's narrowing the focus on their data. Mm-hmm. And it's, you know, the biggest thing I think we learned years ago is I don't want somebody to, quote, try direct mail. It is an expensive proposition to, quote, do brand building with direct mail. Mm-hmm. The key is to use direct mail to close the action and to move the customer forward, whatever that is. Use online advertising, use radio advertising, use some kind of mass communication to brand build, and then deliver the killer message, the killer offer with direct mail. So warm the prospect up, as long as it's the right prospect, and then come in with direct mail. Again, cutting the prospect pool down, and you're going to more likely be successful. But we get too many clients, not too many, but we used to get a lot of people who say, well, I'd like to give direct mail a try. And back in my younger days, I'd be like, okay, great, we'll go create a great direct mail campaign and create a great thing. And they'll be like, oh, well, I tried direct mail once and it didn't work. Well, direct mail is not something to trifle with.
Right.
I tried working out once and my backside isn't skinnier. It's a consistent effort over and over and over again.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's when it's a little scary when someone does call and they just want to launch a campaign, and they're going to measure the results of a single campaign, but they're not measuring the results across all of their channels, and then what direct mail added as value into whom it was successful. If in a marketing automation journey, or where you have these online touches, direct mail is a powerful tool as an offline touch, and it can be as variable as a digital communication.
Absolutely.
Shopping cart abandonment mailings. If your asset library is managed correctly, or it can be the assets can be changed, and they can for direct mail, then if the images are there, you can pull them in through automation and send someone a photo of the refrigerator that they almost purchased less than 48 hours ago.
Right.
So getting that message to Gina's, the right message on the right page, right time, powerful tool. And I'm joking about mail less. We want to mail more, but
that kind of mail.
We want the right mail, and we want our clients to be successful. We don't want someone to just try it one time and not consider all of the other brand impressions they do build up to the success of that campaign. We do some digital marketing in correlation with the direct mail, and brands that have obviously better brand awareness, both are better with powerful tool combining them.
Mm-hmm. So as a vendor or a partner, when do you suggest that prospects or clients bring you into the table? In other words, when are you most successful being brought in to talk about putting direct mail to use in a campaign, like maybe budgeting or before plans are even put forward?
We find that the more transparent our clients are with us, the more successful they will be, whether it's timing and resource management and planning. We have, $15-16 million worth of equipment here. The goal is to keep that equipment busy. If clients will stop when they're doing their annual planning and say, let's bring NextPage to the table now, we can then help them understand when we can maybe save time or save money along the process, when we can help them do something better. Over the years, we've seen clients that have really big aspirations for a really significant campaign, and they need it to be significant and they need significant results, but they don't give it enough time to get through good creative, to get through good process, to make sure that it has enough life. There are times when, as we look at the year, it may make sense, instead of, if a client wants to mail 12 times a year, it may make sense in their business cycle where they're thinking maybe we mail monthly. They may need to mail 10 of those touches before June. There's just a variety of things that come into it. So we can real quickly sit down at the table, help them get a straw budget put together, them to get a straw poll or kind of a straw plan together, so that then they can start narrowing and focusing, and we can get some ballpark estimates. We can figure out where's the best paper to source, how are we going to go about production methodologies, what is the whole thing going to come together, figure out if they've got the right data, if they can get it pulled out from their system. Is there enough is their data augmented to a level that we can actually do something with it? I've been in meetings where the clients strategized on very complex creative campaigns because they know all the data is in their system, but then when it came to actually extracting the data, it wasn't translated the right way, and nobody knew that. And so it's like what happened is they planned on mailing 120,000 pieces, and they only had enough, and very complex, very cool, impactful type. The testing was phenomenal. They were going to make zillions of dollars with it. When it actually came down to pulling enough data out, they only had about 12,000 records that had full data set.
Oh, wow.
It was just, it was a fluke thing that the way the products are defined in their system didn't come through the way that they had originally been planned to come through. Stuff happens.
Yeah.
So it's really, it's like we usually, like I'm working with a client now, and the first thing we're going to do is go through and analyze. They're dealing with 9 different data sets within their organization.
Wow.
And so how are we going to pull and deal with and try to extract enough data to make it a beneficial campaign for them?
Yeah.
The other, I would answer that, Paul, is wherever they are now.
Right.
Because if we all are going to have to do a better job of planning. Even if you're already got your budget for 2023, we might need to be talking about 2024.
Sure.
Pre-buying paper. We like to be involved at the ground level of the results of your campaigns. We want to talk through everything from beginning to end. What can we learn and to help add more value? And you'll ask us, you keep asking about direct mail, and our first response is always data. And whatever question you ask us, it's data. It's where we want to be involved. But it's because it's the most powerful. Do we do really cool stuff? Yeah. I mean, the equipment we have, we can produce, we tip on almost anything. We have all the cool shapes, self-mailers, the folds, the pop-ups. We did a circle, folded down to a 4x0, 4x9 self-mailer. We can do all of that stuff. So can we add the value after the data and manage a success? Yes, it's really on that front end. And NextPage develops solutions specific to clients and what they need. I mean, some of our clients manage print services. We've absorbed what they were doing in-house. Now we produce that here for them in combination with other things. So the answer is now, because some clients will set up a 30-minute discovery call. And people's expectations, I think, are a little lofty for the results of that at times. That's just, who are we talking to? What's your website? Where can we find some information about you? What information can you give us to help us understand your world?
Right.
The best relationships we have are the long-term ones, where there's been that organic growth. They understand us, we understand them, and we're continually looking to change. And NextPage is always adding equipment and changing as well. So we just want to keep moving that value forward downstream to the clients.
And a lot of that applies, or maybe all of it applies as well, to nonprofits that you work with?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Oh, Sam, did you bring show and tell?
I did.
Awesome. I've always loved show and tell.
Yep. Yeah.
Oh, cool. Okay.
We're a nonprofit, and we are been really successful. This direct mail piece, along with IP targeting in combination, I cannot wait for the results of it. We're looking forward to it. The most recent appeal we did before this one was better than the one before that, and we keep building on it. And it's a relationship that's, when I say a new relationship, new for us can still be 18 to 24 months. How busy everyone's world is, the touches, the amount of time, it might be 10 or 12 hours invested to really get in to understand someone, but that can take months at time.
Oh yeah.
But we've been successful there. And then I did have a couple. We were talking about the shape cut.
Yeah.
So,
Oh, awesome. Yeah, there we go.
yeah, can you see that?
Yeah, so cool.
Yeah. And I mentioned that circle. This is the circle.
Mm-hmm. Oh, wow. Okay.
Folds automatically.
Yeah, I love that.
Or-
Yeah, it still mails for standard first class letter rate. They're really strong pieces, and I think it's, the first step is to get the piece noticed in the mailbox.
Mm-hmm.
And from there, then it's really about your messaging and the creative. So how do you get the envelope, as people are going through their mail, what is it that will make somebody not put that mail piece right into the recycle bin?
I like to use my wife as a test. She's a consumer, Paul. She's an excellent consumer. And she's not as, she doesn't really pay attention to direct mail. It's obviously, pays her bills, and that's how it provides her, yes. So when I get the mail, I like to take it in and just give it to her. And I have few mailings in there, and I would like to watch her to see what she notices.
Okay.
And the shape cut envelopes in the postcards that we do, they stand out. One of the great stories I got from a client recently was they forgot to seed themselves on the mailing.
Oh, wow.
But she went to her mother's house, and her mom brought the mail in, and both of them were amazed at how it stood out.
Mm-hmm.
And that, you only have split seconds of time. So again, we can do all the fancy stuff. We can do the embellishments, the crazy folds. We can insert magnets. We print magnets in-house. The birth of our capabilities is enormous, but we will always start with the data, because that's where that's what we want to dive into. That's where we can really help most.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and I can see, to go back to nonprofits for a second, I can see where obviously data is huge, but also these variations on formats also can be pretty impactful.
Yeah. So there's one nonprofit that we do, and we don't have a sample of that, but it's, nonprofits is about telling the story.
Right.
The people who already have an affinity for the mission. So how do you tell the story? The long form letter is one component of it, but how do you then engage that donor and really pull them into the story so that they now feel that, in the case of Habitat for Humanity, that they're really helping house a family and helping that family own a home. Or if it's for a children's mission of some kind, how do we learn and connect with the individual child and the needs of that individual child? And so those stories and giving nonprofits the space to tell that engaging story, so that the donors then can give and feel that they are really doing something to change the world. That's huge.
Yeah.
It takes space, and the key is to, people want to hear from nonprofits that they know and they trust. I think one of the biggest detriments in the nonprofit marketing world was the loss of the regular newsletter.
Yeah.
That's where you told the stories. And I don't know about you, but my email box, I think I came in this morning and I had 110 emails.
Yeah. Yeah. About the same.
Of them were ones that I wanted. Everything else got deleted.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. Well, that kind of gets into.
Yeah. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
No, I'm sorry for. I was just going to say that that anticipates my next question, which is, what are the best value proposition or value propositions for direct mail? Why does it still work so well today? And I think we touched on some of those points already.
Well, the big thing is digital fatigue right now.
Mm-hmm.
I also think because consumers are used to the Amazon experience or the abandoned shopping cart experience, they expect brands to have a baseline knowledge about their behaviors. And they expect brands, nonprofits, healthcare organizations, banks, they expect them to know who they are and to speak to them in a relevant manner.
Mm-hmm.
Because after the digital fatigue, you now have to, engage the consumer very quickly. So if you're going to spend the money on direct mail, you've got to engage the consumer fast with relevant information. And so it is really important because you literally have from the mailbox to hopefully not hit the recycle bin, and then from the recycle bin into the kitchen table. So you want to stay, so you have to make sure that you're engaged with them so that you get to the kitchen table. So that's always the goal, is we've got to get the mail to the kitchen table.
And there's a lot we can do to add value to a mail piece to extend the life of it. I mean, each mail piece has its own journey. It's a part of a bigger journey and all the other touches, but they got to open, they got to notice it. And to Gina's point on a nonprofit, the story that is once they do open it and how that's formatted gives a clear, precise message. But then the branding across not just the direct mail, but then the digital and all of that, the consistency in those campaigns too. I think at times you don't see that. And as a consumer, if you're you click on a link and you go to a landing page and it's not consistent, and then the branding from the postcard that shows up is different. Well, you're trying to communicate the same message, the same offer at a really important time, but it's confusing. Mm-hmm. So and that's where, data, but then being a part of at least having access to everything else they're doing, just to check some boxes, just to make sure that it's being considered. But then once the mail piece is there, you add some things into the mail piece that extends the life, something maybe they'll hold on to, whether it be coasters, magnets. We have some self-mailers where we have figured out how to attach magnets to the inside of them, but once they flip them open, you can put it on the refrigerator. That extends the life of it. Make sure the offer, is there. You can put the offer in the shape cut area because that draws people's eyes to it. There's lots of things you can do to extend the life and the value of it. Okay.
So wrapping up today, what trends do you see unfolding in direct mail in the next year and beyond the next year?
I think that the high value embellished mail piece will continue to have significant value in the marketplace. And so I think we'll see a lot of that. I think the traditional long form letter will continue to be an important part, especially in the donation and the nonprofit arena. I hope and I believe it makes sense for retail brands to continue to engage with direct mail and drive people to websites and online ordering. Those are really key components for them. I am fearful that we will lose some ground with direct mail because of postage increases and raw material increases. But I think that just points to the more important fact of making sure we're targeting the right person and making sure that we engage with them in the right manner and create the right brand and the right experience for the consumer.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, incorporating the variable. We all talk about variable in our industry. Variable. Well, making sure that they have the right images and we have access to them. The more specific we can be when we communicate, utilizing the direct mail piece, the better, and we can. I'm excited about it. I think there's a lot of opportunity to whereas clients in the past, maybe they weren't open to considering some things, mm-hmm. but the uncertainty of the market will allow us to take some additional value to the nonprofits. Let's take a look at the data. The mail piece may cost more now, but if we mail less, and the budget overall could be exactly the same, but the responses could be better.
Right.
And so we might be less mail.
Yeah. And I think also tying the offline and the online experience even tighter together. We started using QR codes back before they were cool.
Right.
And then they died, and now they're cool again. but I think really connecting that to the personal experience. I recently received a mail piece from a large financial institution.
Okay.
The QR code on it took me nowhere.
Wow.
And so no, the intention was a personalized QR code, but it didn't take me to a page at all. And so I think it's really going to force us to ensure that we have a high value offline experience and a high value online experience that are tightly joined together. Consumers expect that today. And so it's really important that organizations like NextPage do everything we can to help brands build those cohesive experiences. And that's one of the key things that we're focused on.
Yeah, it is really interesting when you work with a large national brand and they'll have a social media, a director of social media, they'll have maybe an overall director of marketing, but then they have someone that maybe is watching their email campaigns, and they have someone else who's doing digital, and then they have a print procurement person who's buying the direct mail. And they're so segmented, and the reality is they do need to work together. And it'll be interesting to see what happens. I think with the digital fatigue, people are looking elsewhere for that engagement. And the brands that embrace the technology and variable, if you want, the specific ability that direct mail has to communicate directly to the consumer with the right image. And the amount of time to get it in front of them is much less than people think at times when you utilize automation in that workflow.
Okay. Well, I think that's a great way to wrap things up for today. How can people find out more about NextPage for consultation or possible partnership?
No.
Sam.
No. We have a great team here of sales executives. But I'm happy to help, or we can share some contact information.
Okay.
Or just visit our website, gonextpage.com.
Yeah, or email sam.s@gonextpage.com.
Awesome. Well, again, thank you so much, Gina and Sam, for joining me today. And thank all of you out there for joining us today as well. If you have any questions for us at Who's Mailing What or our guests, please leave them in the box below. Again, show your support by tapping the like button and click on subscribe to be notified of new videos. If you want to be highlighted in a future Meet the Mailers, I want to hear from you. My contact info can be found in the paragraph below by tapping Show More. Thanks again for watching Meet the Mailers. Thank you to our guests, and see you here next time.